Hello everyone, CM Freeze here, and today I'm going to be doing another 2024 NFL mock draft, Chaos Edition. This mock draft has a twist. Sorry, I'm fucking stupid or nervous, maybe both. But this mock draft is going to be the Chaos Edition mock draft, where every single pick or most of the picks I make are going to be chaotic. They are not going to be completely out of the realm of possibility. Like at 1 here, I'm not going to draft like Jaden Daniels, or I'm not going to draft an offensive lineman or an edge or something stupid like that. You know, I'm not going to do something that literally makes no sense at all. Every single pick I make is still going to be within the realm of reason, just probably farther off the spectrum of the realm of region. And you guys will understand what I mean very quickly here. So let's just dive right into this mock draft. And also, I found a place that gives you trades. In my second mock draft I made, please go check that out. I said if that got 500 views, I would make a realistic mock draft with trades. So if either this video or my second mock draft gets 500 views, then that is what I'll do. I'll suck it up, I'll buy PFF, and I'll make a realistic mock draft with trades. Anyways, I'm going to get into the draft now. Thank you guys so much for watching, and here we go. First pick of the draft, I think the Bears are going to draft Caleb Williams. That's not very chaotic, is it? So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to have a team trade up to number 1, and the team I have chosen to trade up to 1 in this draft is the Las Vegas Raiders. Now, honestly, I feel like the Raiders would have to probably trade 3 first-round picks to get this done, but don't really worry about the trade. I'm just making it happen. Why are the Raiders going to trade up to 1 and draft Caleb Williams? Well, the Raiders actually had a really good defense under Antonio Pierce. They went 5-4 with him. The defense played lights out, but that offense needs some work. And I know that they have Aiden O'Connell, but with Davante Adams aging, Jacoby Myers not getting any younger either, a subpar offensive line, an average offensive line, and a good defense, the Raiders might be in a win now mode. And it's also Vegas. You know, you think about Vegas. They're trying to bring in views. They're trying to bring in people to come watch their games. Give them a reason to watch the game. And Caleb Williams is much more sexy than a second year of Aiden O'Connell. So bring in Caleb Williams. Try to bring in your quarterback of the future. You still have your really good defense. You still have Davante Adams, and see if you can make some magic work. Also, Caleb Williams and Patrick Mahomes in the same division. That'd be fucking awesome. Pick 2, Washington Commanders. You would really think that this is a quarterback, but maybe, just maybe, the Commanders are okay with giving Sam Howell a 3rd year and say, hey, our team just sucked and he has no offensive line. Maybe that's what Cliff Kingsbury and Dan Quinn evaluate. And if you're Washington and if you're a team that has many holes, you might look to get some draft capital to replace those holes. So who's wanting to trade up to 2? I think that's going to be the Minnesota Vikings here. And I think the Vikings would have to give up a lot for this to happen. Probably maybe even 3 first-round picks, or maybe 2 firsts, 2 seconds, and a 3rd and a player. But the Minnesota Vikings have been trying to trade up for a quarterback. Last year it was reported that they sent a haul to the Colts for pick 4, and the Colts wouldn't take it. And the Bears, I highly doubt that they would trade Caleb Williams to the Vikings, a team in their division. So the Vikings do the next best thing, trade it for pick 2 with Washington, and draft Drake May to be their quarterback of the future. Christian Kirk is a free agent. Minnesota has to re-sign him, but he's old. He's getting old. I think he's going to be 37 now. Don't have many years with Christian Kirk. Plus, you look at that defense, it doesn't have a lot of talent. Plus, your best player on that defense, DeAndre Hunter, or Danielle Hunter, he's also a free agent. Plus, Justin Jefferson has come out and said that he's going to want the bag to stay in Minnesota, and he might not even want to stay there if the team's not doing that good. So bring in Drake May, bring in a reason to make Justin Jefferson want to stay with the franchise and also help elevate that offense, and work on developing May while also rebuilding that defense. At pick 3, New England at 3 here in a chaos mock draft, I'm going to give them Marvin Harrison Jr. Now, I honestly really think that In real life, this is going to be Jaden Daniels. But New England hasn't had a number one wide receiver or a number one target since Gronk left like 4 years ago. They tried bringing in Juju Smith-Schuster. That didn't work out. They had Jacoby Myers, and I think he did pretty good, but New England didn't want to pay him. So bring in Marvin Harrison Jr., bring in an instant number one wide receiver who can completely change how your offense works. Maybe you go out and sign a cornerback in free agency to work with the team that you have now. But I think you're not going to be upset with getting Marvin Harrison Jr., who could be the best player in the entire draft at pick 3. Leaving Arizona at 4, upset that they didn't get Marvin Harrison Jr., but I think they're still very happy with Malik Nabers out of LSU. Malik Nabers is a phenomenal wide receiver, and in most draft classes, he would be wide receiver 1. He just so happens to be in the same draft class as there's Chase Young and Marvin Harrison Jr., and those two have been Jamar Chase, have been the 2 best wide receiver prospects in the last 10 years. And Malik Nabers just happens to unfortunately be in a class with a generational prospect at wide receiver. He's also really damn good. Malik Nabers is incredibly quick. He is really good at reading defenses. You watch film of him, and he's so good at just getting open. And him and Jaden Daniels worked so well because Jaden Daniels was so good at getting out of the pocket. And when the structure of a play collapsed, Malik Nabers got open, Jaden Daniels found him. And for the Arizona Cardinals, he can be an instant number 1 wide receiver, and him and Kyler Murray would absolutely tear it up together with that dynamic. You're just replacing Jaden Daniels with Kyler Murray. Pick 5 for the Chargers. Chaos mock draft, I'm giving them Joe Alt. The Chargers and Jim Harbaugh loves to run the ball. Greg Roman loves to run the ball, their new OC that they brought in. They want to beef up that offensive line, and Joe Alt is very arguably has the most upside out of any tackle in this class. He is 6'8". He is an absolute mauler in the run game. You have Rashawn Slater on the left side protecting Herbert. You have Joe Alt on the right side beefing up that run game for whatever running back they bring in, because Austin Eckler's not staying there, probably. He's 29 now. If you're the Chargers, though, this is a very appealing possibility to Jim Harbaugh and Greg Roman to just have 2 franchise caliber level tackles playing at left tackle and right tackle. Which Giants at 6 here, you know, Giants at 6. I remember seeing like a tweet of, it was a Giants fan, and the caption was, with the 6th pick in the NFL draft, the Giants select Joe Alt. Sorry, my dog's barking in the background. He's just a pup. He's only like 4 months old. But I saw a tweet that said, with the 6th pick in the NFL draft, the Giants draft Joe Alt. And it's like that military picture. Have you guys seen that photo? It's like of the military man who's horrified, and there's just a bunch of explosions behind him, and he's got the hat on. Maybe I'll put a picture of it up here if I can find it. But I know Giants fans don't really want a tackle. But I'm going to give him Foley Ashanu here, and here's why. Giants are one of the worst offensive lines in the league. Daniel Jones was just getting destroyed, and then after Daniel Jones, it was Tommy DeVito, who was just getting absolutely lit up. And then it was that third quarterback that they brought in too. I forgot who it was. Giants' offensive line sucked wieners. There's no other way to put it. Andrew Thomas is the only good offensive tackle they have, and he was hurt for a majority of last season. The Evan Neal project is just not working right now at all. So, Foley Ashanu is the best pass blocker in this class. No questions about it. Best pass blocker. I don't even know if he's allowed a sack in his career at Penn State. Now, a lot of people say that his biggest weakness is with bigger physical edge rushers, and everyone points to the Ohio State game. That was one bad game that he had. He still didn't allow a sack in that game too. Phenomenal in the passing game. Giants need pass help. Put Fashanu at right tackle. Try sliding Evan Neal into right guard and see if that can improve him. Tennessee Titans at 7. The Titans are right now pretty upset because all the offensive tackles are gone. The Tennessee Titans also had a really bad offensive line. And the Tennessee Titans here just need to improve all around the board. And that's why I am going to give them Rome Odunze here. Titans just need help offensively. Just need help. And they just brought in Brian Callahan from the Bengals, who is an offensive-minded head coach. And the Tennessee Titans might not be that good next year. But you want to try to develop Will Levis, see what you got with him, and you need targets. I think DeAndre Hopkins, maybe he's coming back, maybe he has one more deal left on his contract, but Derrick Henry's gone. Treylon Burks has looked meh. You need to give Will Levis weapons to throw the ball to, and personally, I would try to protect him first with offensive line, but the two best tackles are gone, so draft Rome Odunze here at 7, which Falcons at 8. That leaves them to draft Jayden Daniels. If Jayden Daniels falls to 8, I do believe the Falcons would draft him. I don't think he's going to fall to 8, but in the Chaos mock draft, he does. Falcons get a quarterback who looked like one of the best quarterbacks in the league this year. Now, Jayden Daniels, you can also say he did have 2 first-round pick wide receivers at his disposal and a good offensive line, but he was able to make them work, and he looked great this year and took a big step up. I believe he's 23, but that's not as old as some of the guys after him, and he's played for 5 years. He's got experience, and I think the Falcons, who desperately need a quarterback, are ecstatic that Jayden Daniels has fallen to them at 8, which leaves the Chicago Bears at 9 to take Dallas Turner. Dallas Turner is who I believe is going to be the first defensive player taken off the board here. Maybe Terrion Arnold could be, but edge rusher is arguably the most important position on defense. If you do not have a good pass rush, then just the rest of the team crumbles behind it. It doesn't matter how good and how locked down the secondary is if the D-line can't get to the quarterback. The Chicago Bears just signed Montez Sweat to a big contract extension. He looked great for them. Give him a buddy in Dallas Turner, and Montez Sweat and Dallas Turner can dominate on the Bears' defensive line and get pressure. Jets at 10, I'm giving them Brock Bowers in the Chaos mock draft. Jets should probably go offensive tackle here, but Brock Bowers is a tight end who can both block and receive and catch. Give Aaron Rodgers another target, and also someone that can block when necessary. The Jets' defense is really good. Their offense has just been crap the last couple of years. Give Aaron Rodgers another weapon, because outside of Garrett Wilson, the Jets' weapons aren't the best. They got a good run game with Breece Hall if he can stay healthy. Brock Bowers could be the piece that the Jets need to actually help, and getting Aaron Rodgers back, to help develop that offense and make him not be so poop. Commanders at 11 after trading down from 2 with the Minnesota Vikings. And Commanders can do a lot of things here, but I'm going to go with Fuaga out of Oregon State. Main reason I'm doing this is because Washington also had a trash O-line. And you see a common denominator in these really bad teams. Their offensive line sucks. I believe the teams that had the worst offensive line were the Commanders, the Giants, Titans, and the Giants, I think, had the 4 worst offensive lines, if I remember that correctly, or were the 4 most sacked teams. You need to protect Sam Howell if that's the route that you're going, or any quarterback. Any quarterback you have behind there, you need to protect. And Fuaga had a phenomenal Senior Bowl, had a phenomenal season, has, I think, risen the draft boards to offensive lineman 3 consensusly. I think Joe Alt and Foley Ashanu are 1 and 2, and then Fuaga is right there at 3. And I think Washington is really happy acquiring a ton of draft capital and getting a top offensive line prospect at 11. Which Broncos at 12 here. Broncos can do a lot of things. Russell Wilson, everyone's saying that the Broncos are going to get rid of Russell Wilson, but the reality of it is, he had signed such a huge contract extension that if he refuses to take a pay cut, the Broncos are just screwed. They don't have a lot of cap. They can't cut Wilson because I think I saw that they take negative 80 mil in dead cap if they cut him. And if you do that and you have and I think salary cap's like 280 mil, you are literally getting rid of over 25% of your draft capital by cutting a player. And in today's league, you just can't do that. So either the Broncos are going to take a reset year, or they're going to try to win with Russell Wilson now. And I don't think Sean Payton is going to want to take a reset year. So who knows? Maybe you keep Russ. But then there is JJ McCarthy. But I'm doing a chaos mock draft. Screw this. I'm getting him Jared Verse. Broncos need help on the edge. They had Bradley Chubb and Von Miller. They had a really good defense for a really long time. Didn't get the most edge pressure this year. Jared Verse is best player available. And if you're the Broncos, and if you're trying to win now, you're going to take best player available and you're going to help booster up that defense, which Bears at 13. Bears at 13, I'm giving him Jashaun Newton and keeping him in Illinois. Imagine the Bears defensive line, they're double dipping on D-line. Getting Montez Sweat and then Dallas Turner and Jashaun Newton on that D-line. That could be extremely scary. And for a Bears team that actually has a good young secondary, and they signed some linebackers in last year's draft class, and now they're double dipping on D-line, this Bears defense could actually look scary if they properly develop this team. If the Bears properly develop this team, this defense can actually turn into something scary. And you'll have one more year with Justin Fields, see what he does. And if Fields does good, great, extend him. If he doesn't, then just go get a quarterback. You know, it's not as simple as that, obviously. But next year, the Bears do have an extra second-round pick. And they can maybe even trade up if they want to get a quarterback of the future. Saints at pick 14. I'm going to give Saints JJ McCarthy here. And here's why. Saints are in salary cap hell. They have negative 90 million cap and they're screwed. They're kind of stuck with Derek Carr too because of the contract they gave him. And if the Saints know that they're going to be mediocre and not that good, why not draft JJ McCarthy, have him sit behind Derek Carr for a year while he eats up that trash contract, and then in a year or two when you actually have cap and you can actually develop a team, boom, you already got a quarterback that's already been sitting behind a veteran like Derek Carr for a year or two. Not saying Derek Carr is the best, but you can at least have JJ McCarthy sit and learn your system and learn how to play quarterback at an NFL level and get practice. I don't think it's a terrible idea for the Saints, honestly, to have draft JJ McCarthy and have him sit for an entire year. Colts at 15. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to make another trade. I haven't done this yet in a while, and I'm going to have the Philadelphia Eagles move up with the Colts here. Or the Colts. And I'm going to have the Eagles draft Terrion Arnold. Terrion Arnold, this is about where he's going to go. And for the Eagles, who secondary looked like absolute trash this year, with James Bradbury looking like burnt toast, looking like the next Eli Apple, you need corner help bad. Your secondary got torn to shreds. And if you're in the Eagles and if you're still in win now mode, go draft the best corner in this class, Terrion Arnold, who is actually aggressive, will make tackles, and can intercept the ball, and can play really well in man-to-man, which the Eagles need to do more of because their zone defense that they love to run was not working for them. So trade up, get the best corner in the class, and get rid of James Bradbury and put Terrion Arnold alongside Darius Slay. Seahawks at 18 here. So I just saw a report that Seattle is going to keep Geno Smith. I know that they like Geno Smith at their quarterback. Geno Smith isn't the oldest in the world. I think he's like 31 or 32 now. Seahawks like Geno Smith. The offense is not terrible. They need help on defense. And I love Laiatu Latu in Seattle. I know that they traded a second-round pick for Leonard Williams this season. They want to bolster that defense. You look at McConnell, who just came in from the Ravens defensive coach. He wants to help booster that defense. Laiatu Latu, I think, can be an immediate impact off the edge for the Seahawks, and they can actually try to apply some edge pressure. Jacksonville at 17. Jacksonville needs a lot of help anywhere. Jacksonville just absolutely crumbled this year. And I know a lot of people are saying that Trevor Lawrence was hurt, but I don't know. Jacksonville is very scary here. I think Jacksonville are in a scary spot because this year was just not a good year for them. Not a good year for them. They definitely took a step back from last year, and I'm going to be giving them Cooper DeJean here. Cooper DeJean is a corner that can play anywhere. He can play safety. He can play nickel corner. He can play boundary corner. Cooper DeJean last year had a phenomenal year. This year, he was banged up. He was hurt. But Cooper DeJean can play anywhere. And in Jacksonville's secondary, which needs both safety and corner help, draft DeJean and then see what else you can get in free agency in the draft, and then plug DeJean where he plays best in your system. And since you're a team that needs secondary help all around the board, that's why I'm giving him Cooper DeJean. I think that he can really fit into their system. Bengals at 18, I'm giving him Brian Thomas Jr. here. I saw a report that the Bengals are going to franchise tag T. Higgins, but outside of Jamar Chase and T. Higgins, who both are going to need a lot of money to re-sign, Bengals don't really have the best wide receiver 3. I think Tyler Boyd is also a free agent, so draft another LSU buddy. Maybe that could also incentivize Jamar Chase to want to stay there and not take as much money as possible, because he now gets to help develop a young LSU quarterback. I know the Falcons did that with Julio Jones when they drafted Calvin Ridley. And I think that's exactly what the Bengals are doing here with Jamar Chase drafting Brian Thomas Jr. Brian Thomas Jr. is fast. He's quick. Had a really good year this year, and he had a really good year last year too. And I think Joe Burrow is going to love getting another LSU wide receiver. I know this has always been tackle, but this is the Chaos Mock Draft, baby. And this is honestly something that I think actually could happen in real life. Rams at 19. Rams could do anything here. Their defense was not that good, but the offense isn't the best either. And with the Rams here, I am going to give them Chop Robinson out of Penn State. Rams need edge rusher help. Their defense all around is young and not the most talented. Yeah, they obviously have Aaron Donald, but he was getting triple teamed, and the Rams still weren't getting the most pressure in the world. I think Chop Robinson fits perfectly into that 3-4 defensive scheme as a off the ball linebacker. And Chop Robinson, the Rams can develop. The Rams are really good at actually developing edge rushers, but you could also say that, well, that's because Aaron Donald is taking 3 people to block every single time. And I think Robinson can really thrive in that Los Angeles system. Steelers at 20, I'm going to give them Amarius Mims. Steelers need help in multiple key areas, and tackle is one of them, and they drafted Broderick Jones last year, and it's a fun storyline to pair Broderick Jones up with his buddy Amarius Mims out of Georgia. Pittsburgh Steelers will have 2 pretty good Georgia tackles on opposite sides of one another. The big issue with Amarius Mims is he doesn't have a lot of playing time. He's looked good when he has started, but he doesn't have that many starts under his belt. So he's inexperienced, but has shown potential when he has been on the field. And I think Pittsburgh, for this Chaos Mock Draft, I like the storyline of pairing Amarius Mims and Broderick Jones up with one another. Which Dolphins at 21, I'm going to give them Jackson Powers Johnson. He can play anywhere on that interior offensive line for the Miami Dolphins. And I've actually seen this a lot in a lot of mock drafts. And this is just such a good fit for the Dolphins here if they do end up going with Jackson Powers Johnson. Like I said, he can play center, he can play guard. The Dolphins can choose where he wants to go, help protect Tua even more in the interior offensive line, and help with that running game as well with a mauler in the run game. The Colts at 22, since they traded back with the Eagles, this isn't a chaos pick. I'm going to give him Nate Wiggins. In my last mock draft, someone that watched it drafted the Colts Nate Wiggins. Well, I gave the Colts Cooper DeJean, and he said, I like the pick, but I think we're going to go with Nate Wiggins. So here's this pick for you, man. I wish I remembered your name, but I read the comment. I'll give you your Nate Wiggins pick. Here you go. And Texans at 23, I'm going to give them Brian Murphy. I'm keeping the Texas guys in Texas. Will Anderson Jr. had a great season for the Texans. Give him another buddy. Give him Brian Murphy Jr., who was really good in the run game this season for Texas, has risen up many people's draft boards, and I've even seen, I think Daniel Jeremiah has him as D-tackle 1. And Texans, I think, would be really happy. This is great value for Brian Murphy here at 23. Cowboys at 24. This is the Chaos mock draft. I'm giving them Edrian Cooper. Cooper is someone that had a great Senior Bowl and has been getting a lot of hype for it to actually be a first round edge rusher. Or a first round linebacker. If a linebacker were to be in the first round, it would be Edrian Cooper. Just an absolute beast. Had a great year at Texas A&M. He's fast, he's quick, he's got all the traits that you'd like to see in a linebacker. He's a little undersized, and that's why he's kind of in the range, but undersized linebackers have become more and more common in the NFL. And Dallas does not have good linebackers at all. And I'm talking about on-the-ball linebackers. I'm not talking about Parsons off the ball. I'm talking about on-the-ball linebackers. And they have, I have a Leighton Vander Esch, but he can't ever seem to stay healthy. When he's on the field, he's pretty good, but he can't stay healthy. And after him, I can't name a single Dallas on-the-ball linebacker. I can't. I cannot name a single Dallas Cowboys on-the-ball linebacker. Get Edrian Cooper to fill a big position of need for the Cowboys, and you get to keep him in Dallas or in Texas. It's a cool storyline. Packers at 25 here. I'm going to make another trade. And I'm going to have the Kansas City Chiefs trade up with the Green Bay Packers here. Chiefs are trying to three-peat. And I'm going to give them Keon Cole here, who Keon Cole will probably be the 5th wide receiver off the board. I could also see this being Troy Franklin, maybe Xavier Worthy, or Adion Mitchell. But I'm going to give him Keon Coleman. Keon Coleman is tall. He's 6'4". He's kind of like, I'm going to comp him to Drake London from Atlanta. Maybe not as good as Drake London, but he definitely could develop to be there. He's big, he's tall, great hands. And when you're the Chiefs and you already have fast wide receivers that can get open, your question mark is catching the ball. Getting Mahomes someone who he knows can catch the ball and Mahomes can put pinpoint placement on. I love Keon Coleman to Kansas City. I think it's such a great fit for him. He would dominate there. Mahomes needs someone that can catch the ball, and Keon Coleman has not. That's his thing. Is he's a big get up and get it one-on-one jump ball wide receiver who is great with his hands. Tampa Bay here at 16. Tampa Bay can honestly do anything here. They could do best. They need help anywhere. They need help on the offensive line. They need help with corner. This could honestly be anything for the Bucs. Anything for the Bucs. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers have constantly been trying to rebuild that defense, and the defense just isn't what you would like to see. But the offensive line can improve too, especially in the run game. So I'm going to give them Brand Barton here out of Duke, an interior offensive lineman. Why? Because I feel like it, honestly. I probably would have gone Quinton Mitchell, but I'm trying to make this a chaos mock draft, and I think offensive line makes sense for Tampa Bay. I know they just lost their center. Their interior offensive line's not that good in the run game. Barton is really good in the run game at Duke. He needs help with his pass protection, but run protection he's really good at. Draft an interior offensive lineman to help in that run game and help protect Baker Mayfield. Cardinals at 27. This is just best player available for me, and I'm going to give him Quinyon Mitchell here. Cardinals need defensive help everywhere. Their team played really well under Jonathan Gallen this year, but they could honestly go anything, so I'm just giving him best player available. And Quinyon Mitchell, honestly, I don't see how he could fall. He's definitely fallen in this mock draft. He's definitely risen up a lot of draft boards, but I'm keeping him there at 27. And the Buffalo Bills now at 28. I'm going to give the Buffalo Bills Braylon Trice out of Washington. And Buffalo Bills need edge help. Von Miller is not doing anything for them. And they have Ed Oliver and they have AJ Espinoza. But that offensive line can still improve. And while you have Von Miller, draft another edge rusher to develop under Von Miller while you are still eating up that contract. Let him sit for a year. Let him develop. And Trice is a player out of Washington that has shown great flashes, great potential. You would just like him to clean him up some things. Buffalo, I think, is a great position for a great place for him to go because he can learn behind one of the best edge rushers of all time in Von Miller. and really set, and Buffalo doesn't have to rush him out right away. Plus, Buffalo needs help defensively as well. Wide receivers, maybe they re-sign Gabe Davis, maybe they bring someone in free agency, or with such a deep wide receiver class, they could get a wide receiver down the board. Detroit here at 29. I'm going to go with Kamari Listor. I still don't know how to pronounce his name. And I am sorry. But he just feels like a great Detroit Lions pick. I watched him in Georgia this year. He was their CB1. He's just a mauler in man-to-man. And he's got some things that you would like to see improved upon. That's why he's kind of later here. I know that Kool-Aid McKinstry is here, but I just love the fit in Detroit. He feels like someone that is just... He loves to play football. He's a football player. He's a dog. He's a Georgia Bulldog. And he's going to get along perfectly in that Detroit Lions defense with Dan Campbell at the helm. Baltimore at 30, honestly, could do a lot of things here. But I'm going to trade away this pick, actually. Baltimore is probably one of the harder teams to mock for because their team is so damn good. But I'm going to trade away this pick to New England, or with New England here. And New England's going to move up 4 spots. It said here the trade was accepted. Well, obviously not. Well, the thing's glitching out, so let's pretend that this is New England. So New England is, I'm going to have them trade up for Michael Penix Jr. I'm going to have New England trade up for Michael Penix Jr. It's only 4 spots, and top of the second round is a great place for quarterbacks that fall out of the first round to go. You look at Will Levis last year. Everyone thought he was going to be a first round pick, and he slipped down the boards. New England still needs quarterback help. They watched Mac Jones this year. They watched, Bailey Zappi this year. Apparently reports have come out that quarterback room is just toxic, and Mac Jones is just a really bad guy and the Patriots players don't like. Who knows if that's true or not, but the New England Patriots, they got Marvin Harrison Jr. at 3, and I think that they would love to get Michael Penix Jr. here. He's someone that I think on the Patriots team would start right away. I think Michael Penix Jr. could help from sitting for a year. I think most quarterbacks would help from sitting from a year, but with the Patriots now, with a decent O-line and a generational talent wide receiver, Michael Penix Jr. could actually be exactly what the Patriots need, and I think he would be a really good fit there in New England. 49ers at 31. J.C. Latham has just fallen right into their lap. It's disgusting, but they can put him at right tackle. They lost Mike McGlinchey in free agency this year, and J.C. Latham can instantly go and replace him. And then Packers here at 32, I'm going to give him best player available, and I'm going to give him Kool-Aid McKinstry. Your draft is set. Save. Can I see the draft now? Oh, I can. This is actually pretty cool. So here is the draft in the Chaos Mock Draft. Let me know what picks you really liked. If there's any picks here that stand out to you that you guys love, just let me know. I personally really like what I did with the Bears here with Rashawn Newton and Dallas Turner. And they also get a fucking haul for trading the first overall pick. But let me know down below. I also really like this Brian Thomas Jr. pick too. What you guys liked. And thank you all so much for watching. And peace.